Power of Place as a Design Tool. Mark Johnson, founder, Signal Architecture and Research. The intrinsic character of a place, region, nature, and its people influence where design inspiration begins. Understanding site forces through research reveals the technical and ephemeral components of a site as the first step in the design process, influencing form, material, location, and function. There are many right answers to a design prompt. Aligning the response with the people and the place will make it timeless. Through 3 projects of varying scales and locations, we'll explore how the voice of a place can influence the design of these public projects. Cottonwood Canyon Experience Center at an Oregon State Park in Wasco, Oregon. Through a slight twist, this facility, that is inspired by barns of the region, creates a bridge between the urban and rural communities through a place that is equally enclosed and open, indoors and out, and standing firmly in history and the future. This gathering place, for 2 to 200, for education and recreational programming, is open to all. With academics from preschool to PhD, and family, community, and cultural events, the center is a toolbox for gathering, much in the way that the regional barns have served the valley through time. It opens to the outdoors, protects inhabitants from the weather, and creates a safe place. Murtha Cow Camp, 8,000 beautiful, fragile, rugged acres of the John Day Valley. Remnants still exist that inspire the power of the story. The geologic time marked on the canyon walls, the cultural landscape, and the agriculture. The center is a time marker on the site. It is a building that serves the public in a way that the barn served the ranch in this place through time. There's a hierarchy on the ranch. Nothing is larger than the barn. You can sense the power that it has here and how it has inspired the structure of the new building. We adapted pieces rather than copying, inspiration that echoes history rather than mimicry. The building has a hard shell on one side and it is open to the valley on the other. It's weather protected, light, and strong, and it's a resourceful use of local material. The arbor is made of juniper, the siding made of the same wood that farmers would usually cut up to use as fence posts or to burn. The landscape texture is dry and complex, and the weather is powerful. Placing openings where they're most needed, away from the wind, extends the usable footprint of the building. It is a safe provision for research and exploration at the foot of the hill, opening up the experiences to the valley. It settles into the land and becomes part of the place. By this simple twist and the engagement with this valley, visitors at all times of the year know that something is happening here. Icicle Creek Center for the Arts in Leavenworth, Washington, is located at the foot of Icicle Canyon in the Cascade Mountains. This rugged mountain landscape is the perfect home for music residency programs and chamber and orchestral performances. Interpretation of this immersive program was inspired by the integrative nature of Pythagoras' Music of the Spheres, where music, numerology, gender, and space converge. Orienting spaces to the outdoors, whether it is the canyon view, the forest trail, or nestled between large boulders, the student is immersed in the landscape, allowing distractions to fall away and the union between music education and nature to grow. The simple forms and views in and out of the buildings gave opportunities for architectural composition and experience from within and around the buildings. The owner provided the design team with historic glass that had been saved from a church that was previously on the site. Rather than using it just as ornament, we chose to give it a purpose and the opportunity for representing Pythagoras' Music of the Spheres through light, color, pattern, and story emerged. The walls that frame the space have a purpose for sound and the story of this place. The patterns of the north wall represent the major key, the even number, and the male gender. It holds 4 of 7 of Pythagoras' spheres, or planets. The south wall is smooth, reflective, and resilient. It represents the minor key, the odd integer, and the feminine. It carries 3 planets. The articulated glass of the west wall represents the sun. Its 36 panes, the sum of the meeting of the first odd and even squares. The views toward the Sleeping Lady Mountain Formation remind visitors they are in a place that is part of a larger timescale, and here they can be inspired to explore the ephemeral and technical breadth of their musical study in light, sound, nature, and discovery. Georgetown Wet Weather Treatment Station in Seattle, Washington, treats up to 70 million gallons of combined sewage and stormwater per day, clearing water that would otherwise flow directly into the Duwamish River. What was once a tidal estuary and home to indigenous people is now the industrial heart of the city. Hard surfaces provide runoff laden with the dirt of the city, and we now have to rely on our machines to do the stormwater management work that the landscape used to do. In a storm event, excess water flows into the facility from the major north-south sewer line. The water is processed through settlement, filtering, and disinfection before being released back to the river. The work that happens here is largely invisible to the public. The operators are magicians, maintaining this highly technical machine on the coldest, wettest, and darkest nights of the Northwest winter. The facility is designed for resilience, and the industrial materials of concrete, steel, and translucent panels creates an excellent framework for a narrative infrastructure. There's beauty in the machine, in the parts, and in the process. So the design team configured the facility to reveal those functions and to celebrate the sequence of events. The theater of a storm evolved as a means to show the public that an event was occurring and the stages of what was happening when. Typically, these facilities are surrounded by tall walls and are invisible to the public. Now, this one is a narrator for the weather, with a visually permeable perimeter, highlights on the major functions, and animation during operation. Infrastructure then becomes theater, and the weather and all of its forms and power play the central role. Through our practice, we design inspiring places to live, celebrate, work, reflect, and learn. These examples elicit the stories of their places in the world.